The legislation is not likely to come into effect until next year. And even after all the struggles, while stopping local companies from spamming consumers is part of the solution, it can't be all of the solution. Look in your electronic mailbox and you'll discover that most of the spam there comes from all over the world, particularly the United States.
So in order for Hong Kong to avoid becoming a spam haven in the world, we have to have our own legislation. But I think it's also very important for the government to make the communities realize that it's not going to be the end of spams as we know it. People are still going to get a lot of spams in the mailbox because what we're looking at is that most of these spams are coming from out of Hong Kong.
Naturally, legislation and filtering systems will continue to play a cat-and-mouse game with the spammers. This week, the software maker McAfee announced that it had spotted a new spamming method: island hopping. Spammers are now using domain names of small islands as website links to send their emails and hack into computer systems. So, if you happen to get an email from such places as the Isle of Man in the Irish Sea or the island of Tuvalu, two of the locations whose web addresses have already been hijacked en masse, you may want to disregard it. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back. At the end of last month, the Green Group, the Conservancy Association, released the results of a tree survey it conducted from June to September this year. It examined around 400 trees in the urban area and says they weren't in good shape. The association wants the government to introduce legislation based on an ordinance first drafted decades ago to provide a framework for tree protection. One recent incident shows why such legislation may be long overdue.
Last week, residents of Tuen Mun Leung King Estate informed the Conservancy Association about massive damage to trees in their neighbourhood. The property management company had removed the canopies of well over 100 trees. The company says the trimming was recommended by professional gardening consultants. The Green Group is sceptical.
Nowadays, if you want to have a company to serve people managing trees, all you need is two people. One is the one who know how to handle those gears with, lifting the people up, and the other is the one who know how to use the chainsaw. With these two kind of people, then you can run a company for managing trees already. You don't even know the name of the tree, and then you can do the management work.
The property management company is hired by the estate's owners corporation.
每一晚呢，過咗2點半呢，嗰隻雀仔就嚟㗎啦。咁呢就對埋人哋屋企養嗰啲呢，就喺度好似開雀仔大會咁樣，吱吱喳喳，吱吱喳喳，呢啲就係事實。
車場入口、出入口嗰
係啦，嗰幾棵呢係加斬嘅。點解加斬呢？有2棵呢係遮住人哋嘅茶樓嘅，即係遮住個商場嘅標誌。咁呢仲有嗰啲呢就係插咗落去，即係嗰啲走廊通道啊，嗰個位置。咁啊，仲有啲呢。就係阻住人哋本身嘅騎樓，即係佢啱啱轉角位嘛嗰度啊嘛。
我絕對係同意咧，係有危險嘅樹木咧係要修剪，但係咧修剪嘅情況咧係咪突然間會有良景村幾百棵樹會突然危險咧？危險成點咧？
良景村冇咩好處嘅，交通樣樣都唔方便，係得嗰啲樹木中好嘅啫。最靚樹木好，你而家冇晒樹木啲空氣，你先會生長翻好，呢半年1年之間空氣質素都差晒。
唔得咁樣啊！呢啲仲一個工就係啊，要27年30年啊！
唔知我以前個個都對意見有意見啊！以前啊，人哋阿婆個個坐埋一隻阿嫲傾偈啊，講嘢嘛。依家阿婆都冇唔開心，你走邊度？你一冇親到人。
乾脆都冇晒啲樹蔭咯。
點解要斬呢？就係雨水導管嘛。啊，嗰啲榕樹咧入咗嗰啲喉，喺梁英樓入邊咧就雨水導管走翻出嚟。呢啲你可以問佢係咪事實㗎？咁你話呢啲斬又得唔得咧？ 梗係得啦。
攞數據出嚟㗎嘛。
咁你係我哋本村嘅，但我知道你嘛，你而家就搞是非啊嘛。嗱，呢個是非如果斬成咁嘅，你唔可以搞是非。
Residents worry that the improper trimming of trees will continue. Their request for help was passed on from the Agriculture, Fisheries and Conservation Department to the Lands Department and then to the Housing Authority. The Housing Authority says the management of public areas in the estate is the responsibility of the Owners Corporation.
我覺得咧，政府部門咧對於今次嘅事件咧，我自己都唔滿意嘅，因為咧完全就係話一個交代，就話私人地方唔係佢管轄範圍，咁就了事啦。
Trees in non-private areas are taken care of by the government. On private property, a tree protection clause states that owners can't chop them down without permission from the land authority. But there's a loophole. If you simply cut the tree back until it dies, you technically haven't chopped it down.
I wouldn't call that trimming. I would call that massive killing of trees. A lot of people may think that if you leave behind a little bit of the wood, then the tree will still be able to take in water and nutrient from the soil. But they do not understand a very basic tree biology, and that is the water and the nutrient absorbed by the roots must go through photosynthesis before it becomes food for the tree. So without the leaves, there's no more photosynthesis, and the trees will literally starve.
Environmentalists say that such incidents prove that it's time for the government to introduce a tree ordinance to provide a framework for tree protection, create a unit to coordinate conservation, and enhance the standard of arboriculture of local gardeners.
For the time being, I have a wild idea. Since no government department can do anything to stop this slaughter, and since the slaughter may continue until every big tree in Leung King Estate has been chopped down, I suggest that the chief executive can issue an executive order to stop this. Otherwise, I'm sure it will continue until every tree is damaged.
Finally, one of Hong Kong's longest-running political groups, the Hong Kong Association for Democracy and People's Livelihood, celebrated its 20th anniversary this week. Throughout its history, it's made some fairly controversial choices, and it may have paid a steep price for them.
The celebration took place at a school hall in Changsha Wan on Wednesday. The ADPL was formed in October 1986